In the shadows of the world's most notorious prisons, cameras caught what guards couldn't control. Explosions of violence so raw, they became legends. Today, we take you inside the most brutal prison fights ever caught on tape. These aren't just scuffles, they're wars waged in cages, where survival depends on fists, blades, and fear. What you're about to see is not for the faint of heart, and it begins with one of the bloodiest brawls ever filmed inside Rikers Island. It started with a stare. Two rival crews, divided by street allegiances, met in the Dayroom. Surveillance cameras captured the silence just before impact. Then, a chair flew. Within seconds, chaos consumed the room. Inmates hurled fists, trays, even mop handles, while guards hesitated at the door, outnumbered and overwhelmed. For 3 endless minutes, the Dayroom turned into a battlefield. When order was restored, blood streaked the walls, and the fight became another dark entry in Rikers' violent history. San Quentin's exercise yard is legendary. Half basketball court, half powder keg. On a sunny afternoon, two gangs squared off. The footage shows a casual game of hoops suddenly halt when one inmate pulls a sharpened shank. The whistle blows, but nobody listens. Dozens rush in, fists and blades slicing through the air. Guards fire warning shots into the sky, but the chaos rages until the yard floor is littered with unconscious men. It was over in minutes, but the scars remain decades later. Attica prison is remembered for its 1971 uprising, but few know the countless battles that followed. In grainy footage, two inmates clash in the cafeteria, their feud boiling over spilled food and old debts. Within seconds, allies join, and the hall echoes with the sound of fists cracking against bone. Trays become shields, plastic forks become weapons. Guards storm in, swinging batons, but the cameras capture what mattered. Pure desperation in men who had nothing left to lose. Inside Pelican Bay's security housing unit, the SHU, violence doesn't wait for opportunity. It breeds in silence. A rare leaked video shows two cellmates exploding into combat after weeks of tension. With nowhere to run, the tiny cell becomes an arena of survival. Blood smears across concrete walls as guards rush in with riot shields. The clip became evidence of the hidden brutality inside America's most infamous supermax, where fights last longer because breaking them up means risking lives. South America's prisons are infamous, none more than Sao Paulo's Carandiru. Cameras documented a fight that spiraled into one of the deadliest prison massacres ever. It began with two gangs clashing in a narrow hallway. Fists and blades quickly drew blood, and before long, guards unleashed live rounds. The footage is shocking. Men diving for cover, screams echoing down cement corridors. By the end, over 100 inmates lay dead. The fight became history, but its horror never faded. America's Alcatraz of the Rockies is built to prevent violence, but even ADX Florence can't stop hate. Security cameras once captured a chilling moment in the recreation cages, two men pacing in silence. Then, suddenly, one lunged, concealing a makeshift blade. The fight was brief, precise, and cold. Guards swarmed instantly, but the damage was done. In a prison designed for absolute control, this fight proved that violence finds a way, even under 24-hour surveillance. Hidden cameras caught what inmates already feared. The shower block was a trap. A lone man entered, surrounded by steam and echoes. Moments later, 3 rivals stormed in. The brawl was swift and merciless. Soap turned to blood on the wet tiles. Guards hesitated, knowing the confined space was a death sentence for anyone who stepped inside. When the door finally opened, silence was the only thing left. In 2016, the world saw the brutality inside Topo Chico prison in Monterey. Security cameras revealed a fight that began with knives and clubs, but ended with fire. Rival gangs clashed in dormitories, turning mattresses into weapons. Flames lit the night sky as inmates battled in the shadows. By dawn, dozens were dead. The footage remains some of the most chilling evidence of cartel power behind bars. Cook County Jail's surveillance caught an infamous cafeteria riot. A simple stare across the table ignited chaos. Plastic trays slammed into skulls, benches flipped, and fists rained down. Guards rushed in, but the fight had already fractured the room into war zones. The video went viral for its rawness, proof that even in one of America's most heavily guarded jails, violence needed only seconds to spread. Known as Russia's toughest prison, Black Dolphin is a fortress. Yet footage leaked from inside shows two lifers battling in their tiny cell. The fight is silent, almost eerie, as if both men accepted pain as routine. The guards didn't intervene quickly. Protocol demanded caution. By the time they dragged the men apart, blood was pooled on the floor, another reminder that even under total lockdown, fury burns. Drone footage over Tocorón prison shocked the world. Inmates armed with rifles and machetes clashed openly in the yard while guards stood back. One clip shows rival groups charging like armies, bullets cracking against concrete. The fight lasted hours, filmed by smuggled phones, spreading across social media. It was less a prison brawl than a war zone, where prisoners, not guards, dictated who lived and who died. Louisiana's Angola prison is famous for its rodeo, but one year, cameras caught more than entertainment. Inmates in the crowd erupted into a full-scale fistfight. The spectacle turned into carnage as men wielded chairs and boots against each other. Guards swarmed, but the melee was broadcast for the world to see. For many, it wasn't just a fight. It was proof that Angola's violence didn't stop when the rodeo ended. In Rikers' outdoor yard, a single dispute over contraband sparked a gang war. Surveillance cameras caught two inmates squaring off, but within seconds, dozens rushed in. Makeshift blades flashed in the sun, fists crashed against faces, and the yard turned into open combat. Guards fired pepper spray and rubber bullets, but the video showed the truth. Rikers was a battlefield, and survival was never guaranteed. In Honduras, a fight between rival groups escalated into an inferno. Footage from inside showed inmates torching entire cell blocks, trapping enemies in the flames. Screams echoed as men battled through smoke and fire, swinging machetes at shadows. Guards stood helpless at the gates. By dawn, more than 100 were gone. The cameras didn't just capture a fight, they captured hell itself. At Pelican Bay, newcomers were tested in the Dayroom. One infamous video shows a young inmate cornered by two veterans. The fight was brutal, filmed in silence by security cameras. He fought back with nothing but fists, leaving the floor slick with blood. For the prison gangs, this wasn't random violence, it was a test of worth. For the world watching later, it was a glimpse of the lawless code behind bars. Attica's showers once again became a stage of violence. Hidden cameras caught a man ambushed by rivals, soap and steam masking the sound of fists striking flesh. The fight lasted less than a minute, but its savagery shocked even hardened guards. When it was over, water mixed with crimson spiraled down the drain, a haunting symbol of life inside one of America's most infamous prisons. From Rikers to Russia, from Pelican Bay to Honduras, the cameras never lied. They showed us that prisons are not places of silence. They are cages where violence waits to erupt. Every punch, every blade, every scream caught on film is more than a fight. It is survival, carved into concrete and memory. And as long as men are locked inside these walls, one truth remains. Prison is not just punishment. For many, it is war.